Welcome to Composite News Lab, the film and TV industry news brief for people who ship, producers, directors, UPMs, execs, financiers, post leads, Tuesday, 2025-08-19. Fresh only. Market moves, incentives, buyer signals, labor legal AI, hard deadlines. Let's dive in.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're cutting through the noise, really getting into the actionable opportunities and key trends shaping film and TV. We're focusing quite a bit on Japan, the US, and broader Asia.
That's right.
Our mission, like always, is to sift through all this source material, give you a strategic shortcut, basically, so you're informed and equipped with insights for your projects now and down the line.
And what's really striking, I think, is just how fast the global industry is adapting. You see these really distinct regional strategies emerging.
Right.
And these offer unique entry points for creators. Understanding those nuances, well, that can make all the difference in getting your project off the ground and actually seen. Okay, let's unpack this then. Funding. It's always the first hurdle, isn't it? And our sources show some, pretty significant shifts, especially if you're looking at Asia or maybe building those trans-Pacific connections.
Absolutely. We're seeing this strategic evolution, you could call it, in Pan-Asian funding and labs. It's moving beyond just, handing out production grants.
Okay.
The emphasis now is leaning much more towards soft power initiatives. So things like building a whole ecosystem, fostering distribution networks, creating marketplaces for real international collaboration.
That sounds like a smarter kind of long game approach.
Yes.
Cultivating talent, connections.
Exactly. It's a long game.
So what are some key programs that really show this shift in action?
Well, first up, take the Japan Foundation's an Open Draft Asia Film Programmers Lab. It's a cornerstone of their WA Project 2.0, designed specifically to build ties between Japan and ASEAN nations. It's a two-phase lab for emerging film programmers, screening professionals. Basically, they're training the future cultural gatekeepers, the people who make festival and screening decisions down the road.
Ah, okay. Influencing the influencers.
Precisely. The deadline for this year was August 13th. But it's an annual thing, definitely worth noting for its strategic value.
And what's the sort of tangible benefit for someone, maybe a producer, who gets connected to that program or encourages someone to apply?
Well, the Japan Foundation covers almost all the costs, so it's very accessible. And while, it's not direct production money, the value is immense, but indirect. You're building those long-term relationships with the people who will literally shape the cultural landscape.
Right. Pure relationship capital.
Exactly. If you know anyone in that field, tell them to apply. It's a strategic play for future influence, definitely.
Makes sense. Beyond labs, how is Japan helping get finished films actually seen by audiences?
Okay, so the Japan Foundation also has a local project support program. This one's specifically for film screenings. It gives partial financial help for nonprofit screening events outside Japan as long as they feature Japanese-related content.
Ah, okay, so distribution support.
Yes, vital distribution and audience-building support. It's managed regionally, like the Budapest office handles Central and Eastern Europe. It provides key data points for sales agents, distributors too. Deadlines vary, but you generally need to apply it a few months ahead. They can cover venue hire, publicity, even honorariums, maybe up to a few €1,000 for larger festivals.
Okay, so if you've got a finished film with Japanese ties, that's a clear path. What about other key players, say, in Southeast Asia?
Looking south, the Singapore International Film Festival, SGIF, runs a pretty significant film fund. Now, their 2025 cycle is closed, usually runs Jan to March, but it's a key barometer for what stories are gaining traction in Southeast Asia.
What kinds of stories?
It includes the C-Doc grant for documentaries and the C-Shorts grant. Eligibility is strict Southeast Asian filmmakers only, but if you analyze past winners like the 2022 slate, you see a clear preference for urgent social issues, unique cultural narratives, and formally inventive storytelling. That's invaluable intel for developing your project for future cycles.
Got it. And moving over to Korea, the Asian Cinema Fund at Busan. That's a heavy hitter for indie cinema, right?
Oh, absolutely. ACF is one of the most significant funders for independent Asian cinema. Many 2025 deadlines have passed, things like the A&D Fund for docs, post-production, script development, co-production support, but they're annual.
Which fund is particularly useful?
The post-production fund is critical. It offers top-notch facilities in Korea covering DI, sound mixing, English subtitling, D-Cinema package. For an indie film where the budget's just completely tapped out, this in-kind support can be the difference. It ensures that professional, festival-ready finish.
Makes a huge difference. And for docs looking for partners, especially with a Japan angle.
Tokyo Docs. It's a premier international co-production market, a pitching forum specifically for documentary filmmakers. This year's deadline was July 4th. It's not a grant, but it gives you direct access to decision makers, international broadcasters, streamers, distributors, plus the rigorous application process itself. It really helps you crystallize your project's vision and, frankly, its commercial viability early on.
Okay, so we've had some major Asian opportunities, but our sources also point to this really robust, growing ecosystem in the U.S., specifically supporting Asian and Asian American voices.
Yes. This is what we're calling the U.S. funding corridor for AAPI and Asian voices. It's a really active space. For you, the listener, if you're a filmmaker in Asia, partnering with Asian American creatives can unlock this U.S.-based support.
And vice versa.
And vice versa, absolutely. If you're an Asian American creative, it expands your global access. It's a genuine trans-Pacific connection that's becoming stronger.
So what are some standout opportunities in that U.S. corridor?
Sundance Institute's Artist Accelerator is a big one. They've got programs like the Asian American Foundation Fellowship and Scholarship launched in 2022 for emerging Asian American artists.
Oh, yeah.
And launching in 2025, this is significant, the One House Filmmakers Fund and Sundance Institute Filmmakers Fund. These offer unrestricted, non-recoupable grants globally for multicultural and underserved artists.
Unrestricted funding. That's huge.
It's the holy grail, right? It gives you immense flexibility to put resources exactly where they're needed, most development, production, even just keeping yourself afloat during the process.
Definitely. What about specifically supporting Asian American stories for broadcast, like PBS?
Right. The Center for Asian American Media, CAM, they've been critical for over 4 decades funding Asian American stories for public TV. They have the CM Documentary Fund, typically $10 to $50 for production or post, and the Building Bridges Documentary Fund. That one's specifically for docs on the Muslim experience in the U.S.
Good to know.
Yeah, but if you're aiming for SERM, you really need to develop your project with that PBS audience and their broadcast standards clearly in mind from the start.
Makes sense. Any other notable U.S. grants, maybe more targeted or accessible ones?
Definitely. The Tasvir Film Fund, it's a very specific opportunity for shorts rooted in the South Asian experience. Deadline, August 5th, 2025. 4 winners get a $35,000 grant after pitching at the Tasvir Film Market. Pretty substantial for a short.
Wow, yeah.
Then there's Filmmakers Without Borders, FWB. They offer smaller tiered grants like 250-hour FXD up to $5,000 for all stages. Really accessible for emerging filmmakers, and they have predictable deadlines. John 1, June 1, Aug 1. Also, the Very Asian Foundation Creators Grant, that's a micro grant, $1,500 for AHPI heritage artists. And the Cedar Road IAGI Grant via SF FilmM, $10K, $30K for Asian API perspectives.
So pulling all this funding info together,
Yeah.
what does it really mean for you, the filmmaker, trying to find money right now?
It means opportunities are definitely out there, but you have to be strategic. You need to look beyond just the direct grants. Think about those soft power plays, the relationship-building ones, and absolutely don't overlook that Trans-Pacific funding corridor connecting Asian and Asian American talent. It's about finding the right fit for your specific story and your strategic goals.
Okay, that's a solid roadmap for funding. Now, here's where it gets, I think, really interesting. You've got an idea, maybe some seed money.
Yeah.
Where do you actually make it? How do production incentives make it financially viable?
Right. Choosing where to film is always this complex equation, and Japan has very aggressively jumped into the global incentives race. They are now a major player you absolutely have to consider.
Okay, tell us about Japan's 2025 production incentive. This sounds like a potential game changer.
It really is. It's been extended through 2025. This is a direct, ambitious move by Made in Japan's Economy Ministry and VIPO, the Visual Industry Promotion Organization. They're actively trying to attract major international film and TV projects.
And the offer.
It's a generous cash rebate, up to 50%. 50% of qualifying production and post-production costs incurred in Japan. That is one of the most competitive rates anywhere in the world right now.
50% is incredible. What's the catch? Minimum spend, complexities.
Well, yes, it's definitely designed for large-scale productions. The minimum spend is significant. Exact figures fluctuate with exchange rates, obviously, but you're generally looking at direct costs in Japan needing to be over, say, 3.3 million US dollars. Or if your total global budget is higher, like over $6.6 million, then the Japan spend needs to be over $1.3 million.
Okay, so big projects.
Big projects. And here is the absolute crucial requirement. Applications from overseas companies are not accepted.
Yeah?
The application must be submitted by a Japanese company. So, step one, before anything else, is securing a reliable, high-quality local Japanese partner. That's the key to even unlocking this incentive.
That partner requirement is critical. Then what about application timing?
For 2025, they actually increased it to 4 application windows, which adds flexibility. And good news for listeners right now, the July 28th to August 22nd window is currently open. So if this sounds like it fits your project, now's the time to act with your Japanese partner.
Wow. Okay, timely info. Has this incentive actually worked? Have big productions used it?
Oh, absolutely. It's proven successful. High-profile projects like Apple TV plus Monarch, Legacy of Monsters Season 2 used it, A24's The Smashing Machine with Dwayne Johnson, the South Korean drama What Comes After Love, the sci-fi series Neuromancer.
Is drawing them in.
It is, and the strategic implication for you isn't just about the money. This incentive is part of a broader industrial strategy for Japan's skills transfer, adopting global practices. So your pitch to a potential Japanese partner shouldn't just be about your film, it should be a business proposition. Highlight the mutual benefits, how your project enhances their global profile.
That's a really smart way to frame it. Beyond this big incentive, how does Japan approach co-production more generally?
Japan kind of has a dual approach.
Yeah.
They have formal diplomatic treaties, but also these more dynamic, market-driven project partnerships. Formally, they have co-production agreements with China, signed in 2018, and Italy, specifically for feature films.
Okay.
If your project gets official co-pro status under those treaties, it's treated as a national film in both countries. That can unlock local funding, quotas, things like that.
And the less formal collaborations.
Well, that aggressive location incentive we just discussed, it's actually created a sort of flexible, fast path for more informal, but still very significant collaborations. Look at South Korea.
Right.
Despite, historical friction, the production relationship is thriving.
Really?
Yeah, high-profile K-dramas like What Comes After Love and Disney Plus Made in Korea, filmed in Japan using incentive. It shows this pragmatic, business-first approach. We're also seeing lots of activity with Southeast Asia and Europe, like the Vietnam-Korea co-pro Saigon Oppa, or Sony and GDH doing a Thai adaptation of 50 First Dates.
So for most indie filmmakers,
While the formal treaties are good to know about, the more effective strategy is usually finding that strong Japanese partner and leveraging the location incentive, just like the major global players are doing.
okay, so if you're evaluating top Asian production hubs, our sources really highlight Japan and Thailand as having the most compelling incentive packages. What's the strategic difference? Which one is right for you?
It's a great comparison. Japan, as we said, is massive, up to 50% cash rebate. But it's clearly for blockbusters, minimum spend around $3.3 million, high per project cap near $6.8 million. Film and TV series only. And, crucially, must go through a Japanese partner via those application windows.
And Thailand.
Thailand offers a solid 15% base tax rebate. But it's stackable. You can get up to 30% total with bonuses for things like tourism promotion, shooting in specific locations, or hitting a higher local spend.
Stackable bonuses.
Exactly. And the minimum spend is much lower, around $1.5 million US. Per project cap is $4.4 million. It's also eligible for a wider range of projects. Film, TV drama, docs, even commercials. The application is usually streamlined via a Thai coordinator company, and you need to start shooting within 120 days.
So a clear strategic choice there.
Absolutely. Japan, high stakes, high reward, really, for the blockbusters. Thailand, more accessible, more pragmatic, maybe, for a wider range of indie features and TV series because of that lower entry point and the stackable bonuses.
And back stateside, there's critical movement on federal support, too.
Yeah.
Section 181, that could really impact where productions land in the U.S.
Yes, the CREATE Act. It's a bipartisan bill introduced just August 13th. It aims to extend and expand Section 181. That's the only federal tax incentive for U.S.-made film and TV.
And it's expiring.
Without action, yes.
Wow.
This 100% write-off of production costs. It expires for projects starting after December 31st, 2025. This bill wants to renew it through 2030 and raise the deduction limits.
Why is this specific federal incentive so important?
Well, it's got strong backing from the guilds, DGA, SAG-AFTRA, WGA, and the MPA. They're calling its passage vital to protect American jobs and keep indie filmmaking viable here, especially now that California, for example, just doubled its state film credit. Losing this federal piece would be a major blow, likely driving more production out of the U.S.
Got it. Beyond individual countries, there's also this big push for regional collaboration in Southeast Asia that could open up new avenues.
That's right. At the Asian Film and TV Summit 2025, late July in Malaysia, the Southeast Asian film agencies were really calling for greater regional integration.
What kind of integration?
Key proposals included forging a region-wide co-production treaty, or MOU. The idea is to ease cross-border productions, make crew mobility simpler. Also, a big emphasis on inclusive practices, hiring local talent, amplifying indigenous voices, and the really ambitious idea, Screen Asian.
A shared streaming platform for the whole region.
Exactly, a shared regional OTT platform. If these initiatives actually happen, they could unlock significant co-financing and distribution for indie films within that 10-nation bloc. So definitely keep an eye out for any news on a Screen Asian launch or new co-production frameworks emerging from that.
Okay, so you've got your project funded, maybe used an incentive, found a partner. Now, the big question, how do you get it out there? Distribution is constantly shifting. New opportunities, new challenges.
It really is. Securing distribution today needs a multi-pronged strategy. You absolutely still leverage the traditional festival circuit, but you also have to understand the evolving needs of the global streaming platforms. The landscape is defined by fragmentation and, critically, this big shift towards ad-supported streaming.
Let's start with festivals then. What's interesting on the 2025-2026 circuit?
Okay, Shorts Film Festival in Asia 2026. Submissions open August 1st, 2025. They are doing something really pioneering with Web3.
Web3.
Every single submitter automatically gets a digital wallet. This opens the door for new services like NFT-based voting, even content trading. The festival's aiming to build a DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization for direct interaction.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it represents a potential new frontier, monetization, community engagement, especially for short filmmakers. It's a fascinating glimpse into where things might be heading.
Direct creator-to-audience models.
Yeah.
Very interesting. What about the big Asian festivals, Busan, Tokyo?
Right. For Busan International Film Festival, BIFF, 2025 deadlines passed, usually June for shorts, July for features. Expect a similar window for 2026. Key policy. They strongly prioritize world and international premieres. Your film needs to be completed no earlier than October of the previous year.
Okay.
And note, non-Asian short films aren't eligible.
Okay. And Tokyo?
Tokyo International Film Festival, TIFF. 2025 submissions closed July 7th. Their main competition is open to features finished after Jan 1, 2025, needing at least an Asian premiere. And they have the Asian Future section for emerging directors' first, second, or third feature from a pretty broad definition of Asia.
Any other key Asian festival deadlines coming up soon, like August, September?
Yes, quite a few. Tehran International Short Film Festival, Aug 15th. Red Sea International Film Festival in Saudi Arabia, Aug 17th. International Film Festival of India, GOA, Aug 30th. The U.S.-based Asian World Film Festival, Aug 30th. Korea's Sokjo International Food Film Festival, Aug 30th. So, yeah, a busy period for deadlines.
Okay, shifting to the market itself. What are recent sales and box office trends telling us? What are distributors actually buying?
Well, the era of the sort of generic, try-to-please-everyone global film seems to be over. What we're seeing now is distributors actively seeking strong genre pictures and really unique, culturally specific stories.
Examples.
U.S. distributor Neon just picked up the Japanese thriller Exit 8. Radiant's got world sales for Lost Land, which is notable as the first ever feature film in the Rohingya language.
Wow.
Yeah. It underscores a key point for you. Your film specificity. That can actually be its biggest market advantage. It activates passionate, underserved audiences around the world.
So lean into the niche. What about existing IP? Manga, webtoons?
Still incredibly powerful. Adaptations of established IP remain a very reliable path to commercial success. We see Nikatsu boarding the film adaptation of the manga Windbreaker. Strong international sales for the Korean hit. My Daughter is a Zombie, based on a webtoon. It's a proven model.
And co-production seems dominant for bigger projects.
Absolutely. Cross-border collaboration is really the primary mode now for many significant films. We mentioned Saigon Oppa, Vietnam Korea, the 50 First Dates Thai remake, Sony GDH. That's how ambitious projects are getting made. And encouragingly, box office health looks pretty good. Reports show the Korean box office rebounding. China's summer box office hit $1.4 billion, led by an animation. Nobody. Strong domestic markets are the bedrock, so that's positive for the whole ecosystem.
Okay, let's talk streamers. Netflix, Amazon, their strategies are changing fast. This has huge implications for what content they buy and how you should pitch.
That's exactly right. There's a clear fundamental shift happening. It's less about pure subscriber growth now and much more about monetization and retention, and that completely reshapes their content strategies.
Let's start with Netflix Japan. What's their play?
Okay, it's their 10th anniversary there, so they're emphasizing a deeper commitment to local production, collaborating with top creators and emerging talent. The goal, they say, is authentic and honest stories that resonate deeply in Japan, but can also transcend borders.
What kind of content are they backing?
Their 2025 live-action slate is pretty diverse. Big productions like Glass Heart, Last Samurai Standing, manga adaptations like Demon City, unscripted stuff too. It signals a pretty open mind on genre and format. But globally, the key driver is that ad-supported tier.
Who are the ads?
Yeah, 94 million monthly active users on the ad tier, ad revenue projected to roughly double in 2025. And they're rolling out their own ad tech. That's the engine now.
Amazon Prime Video, similar shift.
Yes, key shift. They're introducing an ad-supported tier in Japan and India in 2025, directly aligning with Netflix's hybrid model. Their stated reason for the ads is interesting: to support the ongoing creation of compelling content over a long period of time.
Implying more investment in content.
That's the implication, yeah. A future commitment to funding a broader library, including more local originals fueled by ad revenue. They're also showing adaptability, like offering cheaper, mobile-only plans in some Southeast Asian markets, tailoring the model locally.
So what does this big pivot to advertising fundamentally mean for you, the filmmaker, pitching your project to these giants?
It fundamentally changes how content is valued. Projects are increasingly judged not just on artistic merit, but on their ability to deliver and retain an audience that's valuable to advertisers.
Which favors?
Which can favor episodic content, things that keep viewers engaged longer, coming back week after week. So when you pitch, you almost need to think like an ad sales executive. Frame your project by its demographic appeal, its potential for repeat viewing, its suitability for brand-safe advertising. It's a different mindset.
Makes sense. Speaking of streaming and content pushes, China's regulator is making moves too, with a really interesting focus on super short-form content.
Indeed. China's NRTA, the National Radio and Television Administration, rolled out new guidelines made public August 18th, aimed at boosting domestic TV quality and global appeal. Their content renewal plan specifically calls for more support for mini-dramas.
Mini-dramas?
Yeah, these super short-form scripted series. Also more support for documentaries, animations, and high-quality foreign shows. They're explicitly telling broadcasters to commission outstanding micro and short series and import select overseas programs while also tightening copyright.
And these microdramas are actually taking off.
Exploding. Often under 2 minutes an episode, they've become a new growth pillar in China's online video space, and their global influence is rising fast. Look at VL Group in Beijing. They just launched the world's largest microdrama distribution hub mid-August. Over 1,000 titles ready for licensing.
1,000 titles?
Yeah. And they've already sold big volumes across Asia and North America. They're even using AI in their pipeline, like AI-generated anime series.
So what are the implications here for creators?
Well, the rise of microdramas presents genuinely new distribution opportunities. It's a fast, relatively low-budget way to reach huge audiences, especially as attention spans shift towards snackable content. It could mean more slots for doc and animation projects in China too, and maybe openings for international co-production or licensing in this short format.
Okay, this brings us neatly to a really cutting-edge development, the intersection of film and AI. We're seeing this spotlighted at Busan's market soon.
Exactly. Busan's Asian Contents and Film Market, ACFM, is launching its first ever InnoAsia program. Runs September 20th to 23rd, 2025. It was just announced yesterday, August 19th.
What is InnoAsia?
It's a new, dedicated platform focusing squarely on the convergence of filmmaking and cutting-edge tech. They're bringing together global tech giants, AWS, Google Cloud, Midjourney, alongside innovative Asian startups.
What will actually happen there?
Several things. Conferences on AI and cinema, new IP and copyright models, an AI bootcamp with hands-on generative AI tools, a works-in-progress showcase specifically for AI-augmented films, a tech lounge for demos, startup investment events.
So a major focus on tech integration.
It's really the first big, concerted effort at an Asian film market to bring tech firms and content creators together at this scale. It offers a direct look at new storytelling tools, a chance to forge partnerships in AI and Web3. It underscores this regional push for innovation sustainability in content creation.
Which takes us right into maybe the most forward-looking parts of this deep dive. The legal, the business shifts shaping the industry, and just the practicalities of getting things done on the ground, especially somewhere like Japan.
Right. And on AI, Japan has taken a fascinating stance. It's positioned itself as one of the world's most permissive environments for generative AI, essentially creating a legal creative sandbox for filmmakers and artists.
The sandbox, how does that work legally?
It comes down mainly to Article 34 of their Copyright Act from 2019. This allows using copyrighted works for data analysis, which includes training AI models without needing the copyright holder's permission.
And this applies even if the AI is being used commercially.
Crucially, yes. Unlike the US and Europe, Japan's law explicitly allows this training for commercial purposes. That's why Japan, and Singapore has a similar approach, are seen as global AI training havens. It was a very deliberate policy choice to boost their domestic AI industry.
Okay, that sounds incredibly permissive. Are there any limitations or risks?
Yes, a couple. The exception doesn't apply if the use unreasonably prejudices the interests of the copyright owner. But that's vague language, hasn't really been tested in court yet, and standard copyright infringement rules still apply to the output of the AI. If the AI generates something substantially similar to an existing copyrighted work, that's still infringement.
Got it. And what about owning the copyright for something the AI generates? Can you copyright AI art in Japan?
Okay, Japanese copyright law says a work needs creative expression of ideas or emotions to be copyrightable. So something generated solely by AI, not copyrightable. However, if a human creator provides significant creative input, directs the AI, curates, modifies the output, and essentially uses AI as a tool, then the resulting work can be protected by copyright. And the human is considered the author.
Okay, so human involvement is key for ownership.
Human creative input is key. And while the law is permissive now, the government is encouraging voluntary licensing deals and compensation models. It suggests this might be a temporary regulatory sandbox phase that could evolve later.
So for filmmakers right now,
It's a golden window. You can experiment with generative AI tools in Japan in ways that might be legally tricky elsewhere. But to mitigate future risk, document your creative process meticulously. Show your human input. Use AI maybe more for ideation, pre-visualization, and just be prepared that licensing models might become the norm down the line.
okay, strategic experimentation. Beyond AI, the corporate landscape in Japan itself is seeing huge changes. Mergers, acquisitions, creating new potential partners.
Absolutely. The first half of 2025 saw a historic surge in Japanese M&A. Record levels, $232 billion. That's a threefold increase.
Wow, what's driving that?
A lot of it is pressure from the Tokyo Stock Exchange and activist shareholders, pushing large Japanese companies to improve capital efficiency, divest non-core businesses. This means lots of assets are suddenly up for sale, and private equity firms are very active buyers. Japanese companies are also doing more outbound M&A, looking for growth, especially in tech, media, and telecoms, the TMT sector, fueled by the AI capital expenditure supercycle.
How does all that corporate churn impact an indie filmmaker looking for partners or money?
It means the landscape of potential partners is changing fast. You might suddenly find yourself pitching to a newly independent, more agile media company spun off from a giant conglomerate. Or maybe a private equity-backed platform with fresh capital and a mandate for aggressive growth. You really need to keep an eye on Japanese business news, track these spin-offs, these sales. They represent new, potentially dynamic opportunities.
Okay, fascinating. Finally, let's get practical. For any foreign production thinking about shooting in Japan, mastering the local logistics, the bureaucracy, it's crucial. Our sources highlight one non-negotiable element.
Yes. Success in Japan is absolutely contingent on strong local expertise. Trying to navigate visas, permits, location management on your own, it's a recipe for costly delays and immense frustration.
Let's talk visas first. For foreign crews.
Okay, for short stays like meetings or interviews, media reps from visa waiver countries usually don't need a visa. But this does not cover work involving payment from a Japanese source.
So for actual production work?
You need a proper work visa. And critically, you cannot get this as a freelancer. You must be sponsored by a Japanese company. This legal requirement just hammers home again. You need that formal Japanese partner. Worth noting, there's also a new nationwide startup visa since Jan 1, 2025, up to 2 years for entrepreneurs setting up businesses there.
Okay, partner needed for visas. What about filming permits and equipment?
Standard stuff for public locations. Permits are managed by regional film commissions working with local police. Usually takes about a week. Forms are in Japanese. Very hard to arrange last minute. Again, your local producer or fixer is essential here. For equipment, good news. Japan is part of the ATA Carnet system that allows temporary, duty-free, tax-free import of professional gear. It's the recommended way, simplifies things a lot.
So the big takeaway on logistics is,
The indispensable role of local expertise. Budgeting for a high-quality, experienced local fixer or production services company isn't just a good idea. It's a non-negotiable line item for any foreign indie production planning to shoot in Japan. That local partner is fundamental to a smooth, successful production, period.
okay, so pulling all these threads together, funding, incentives, distribution, AI, logistics, what does it all really mean for you, the listener, navigating this landscape in the coming year?
Right, let's distill it down. A few key strategic recommendations emerge. First, adopt that dual-track funding strategy. Go for direct grants, yes, but also pursue those indirect soft power opportunities that build long-term relationships.
Okay.
Second, really leverage that Trans-Pacific funding corridor. Actively seek out Asian American partners to unlock U.S. funding and think about projects as international co-pros right from the start.
Makes sense.
Third, target production incentives based on your project scale. Japan for the big budget projects if you have that Japanese partner. Thailand for more accessible indie features and series with its lower entry point.
Yeah.
Fourth, pitch smart to the new streaming model. Frame your project not just artistically, but by its ability to attract and keep an audience that advertisers want. That might mean leaning into episodic.
Okay.
Fifth, embrace specificity. Don't shy away from unique cultural narratives, niche genres. That specificity can be your market advantage, activating passionate global communities. Sixth, use Japan's AI sandbox strategically but carefully. Experiment, yes, but document your human authorship meticulously and be ready for licensing models later.
And finally,
Finally, and this is crucial, treat local partners in Japan as an absolute non-negotiable necessity. They're essential for visas, permits, incentives, just making sure the project actually runs smoothly.
it's a lot to chew on, but yeah, it really gives you a solid roadmap for the year ahead. Looking across everything we discussed, what stands out to you as the biggest, maybe overarching shift happening right now?
If we really connect the dots, all these rapid shifts in funding, distribution, technology, plus this rising emphasis on local partnerships and specific cultural stories, it suggests something bigger. It suggests the future of successful filmmaking isn't just about making a great film anymore.
It's about
becoming a truly adaptable, globally minded, and strategically networked creative entrepreneur. It really raises an important question for everyone listening. How will you leverage these kinds of insights to redefine what it even means to ship a project in this new era?
a fantastic thought to leave everyone with. That's our deep dive for today. Thank you for joining us.